On Syrian state television, the victorious march of government forces into Deir al-Balad, raising the flag of the Assad regime in the city that ignited the uprising against the Syrian president and his government. This moment following a brutal siege by Syrian military forces and their allies, which lasted almost 2 months, bombarding neighbourhoods where 50,000 people live. The fighting cutting off vital food and medicine supplies for those inside. But in the past week, a ceasefire brokered by Russia has come into effect, and displaced residents have returned to their homes, or at least what's left of them. 10 years ago, this city was dubbed the cradle of the uprising as the so-called Arab Spring reached Syria. The incarceration and torture of 15 boys for scrawling graffiti critical of the government, sparking protests, which were met with a brutal military crackdown. Within weeks, the unrest had spread across the nation. The conflict unending as foreign militants, regional and world powers intervened on different sides. Today's victory, more than symbolic.
So it's just another reminder, I suppose, of how far we've come down in the past decade, and the Syrian government is slowly reasserting its control over more areas of its country.
The events in Deir, watched closely by Turkey, which has backed militia groups across the country's north. We hope that the ceasefire, which came into effect on September 6, will be permanent. Experts say Russia's involvement could ensure this ceasefire holds where others have failed.
In the past, those agreements have been relatively robust. Has been the cases where Russian forces have been stationed there, particularly Russian military police forces.
Keeping the peace will be difficult. Rebuilding will be harder still.